In this problem, we're going to look at how to solve a system by substitution. There are many different ways you can start on this problem, so you can just pick what looks easiest for you. The goal of this kind of problem is that you want to end up with an x coordinate and a y coordinate. And whatever the x and y coordinates are, they have to be true for both statements. So the way to go about this is to pick one of the equations and isolate it for either x or y. When you find x and y, you're going to plug them into both equations at the end to make sure that you have the right answer. It's an optional step, but at least this way you can guarantee that you have the right answer. So looking at this pair of equations, there are many ways you can start on it, but it might be easier just to pick the second equation. And that's based on the fact that it looks simpler than the other equation. Because in this case, the second one doesn't have any fractions, whereas the first one does. So let's bring that down here. 2y equals 26 minus 6x. The goal here is to get either the y by itself or the x by itself. You see that y is by itself on one side. If we can get rid of the 2, we'll have y equals something. So let's just get rid of the 2. And the way to do that is to divide both sides by 2. So when you do that, you got y equals 13 minus 3x. And now we have a y equals equation. So we still don't have y equals a number. The goal is to get y to equal a specific number. So we're going to take this y equation, and now we're going to plug it into this y term over here in the other equation. But before you do that, look at all the fractions in this first equation. It's easier to get rid of the fractions first before using the equation. So we're going to do that over here. 2 plus 9/4 y equals -1/2 x. To get rid of the fractions, look at the denominators and pick the denominator with the larger number on the bottom. In this case, you've got 4 and 2, but 4 is larger than 2. So we're going to use 4. And we're going to take that 4 and we're going to multiply everything by 4. You'll have 4 times 2 plus 9/4 y equals 4 times -1/2 x. And then you're going to distribute the 4 into both parts here. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 9/4. The 4 is going to cancel out with the 4 on the bottom, and you're just going to have 9. This is going to be plus 9y. Now on this side, it's going to be equals 4 times -1/2 is -2. So you have -2x. That comes from the same idea, where you have 4 times -1/2. The 4 is going to multiply into the 1, so you'll have -4 over 2. Which equals -2, and that's where that comes from. We've gotten rid of the fractions for this first equation, so now we're going to take this y equals expression, and we're going to plug it into this y term right here. So when you do that, you have 8 plus 9, and instead of y, you have 13 minus 3x in parentheses. And that's because this expression tells you that y is 13 minus 3x. So you're substituting this part into the y term, which is what you get down here. Bring down the -2x on the right side. Now you're going to simplify this part. You're going to distribute the 9 into the parentheses. On the next line, you'll bring down your 8 plus. 9 times 13 is 117. 9 times -3 is -27, and you keep the x. And then on the right side, bring down the -2x. Now you want to simplify by combining like terms. 8 and 117 are like terms. -27x and -2x are also like terms. 8 plus 117 is 125. Bring everything else down. Now, add 27x to both sides. When you do that, you have 125 equals 25x. To get the x by itself, you have to divide both sides by 25. When you do that, you have 5 on the left and x on the right, so x equals 5. Now take x equals 5 and plug it into this x term right over here. You could plug it into any of the x terms in the original equations, but you already have a y equals term right here. So if you pick this one, you'll save yourself some steps. So when you do that, you have y equals 13 minus 3, and instead of x, you put 5, because we know that x equals 5. When you simplify this, you have y equals 13 minus 15. And that becomes y equals negative 2. So now we have both x and y. In an ordered pair, you have your x term on the left and your y term on the right. We have our x, which is 5, and we have our y, which is negative 2. This is the answer, but you can do one more thing. When you have a system of equations, you can plug in your answer into the original equations to make sure you have the right answer. So let's pick the simpler equation again. You have 2 times negative 2, because y is negative 2, equals 26 minus 6 times 5, because x is 5. When you simplify this, you got negative 4 on the left. 26 minus 30 on the right. When you simplify that, you have negative 4 equals negative 4. So far, everything is good. Now we're going to check the answer in the other equation. You have 2 plus 9 over 4 times negative 2 equals negative 1/2 times 5. When you multiply these two terms, you have a positive times a negative, so the negative sign is going to stay. 2 is in the numerator. It's really negative 2 over 1, and the negative 2 multiplies with the 9. So you have 18 on the top and 4 on the bottom. It's the same thing on the right side. The 5 is in the numerator, so it multiplies with the 1. So you have negative 5 over 2. Before moving on, let's reduce this fraction into lowest terms. Bring down the 2 and the minus. Now, with the fraction, both 18 and 4 can be divided by 2. So when you divide 18 by 2, you have 9. When you divide 4 by 2, you have 2. Then bring down the part on the right. Now you can combine the 2 minus 9 over 2. Or you can add 9 over 2 to both sides. Or you can multiply everything by 2 to get rid of the fractions, like we did earlier. So let's go ahead and multiply everything by 2. Start by distributing 2 on the left side. 2 times 2 is 4, minus 2 times 9 over 2 is 9. Then on the right side, negative 5 over 2 times 2 is negative 5. When you simplify 4 minus 9, you got negative 5, and on the right side, you already have negative 5. So you got a true statement in this equation as well. And since you got true statements in both equations, we know that this is the right answer. We'll look at more examples in upcoming videos. Leave a comment below. Subscribing is free. Click the like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons for more videos.